This clip is brought to you by BoutIt.online.com.
So the 25-year anniversary has come up for one of the hardest hip-hop albums, definitely one of the hardest gangster rap albums to come out of its time. I'm Bout It, the soundtrack which went with the cult classic independent motion picture movie produced by Master P and No Limit Records, and the soundtrack was definitely slamming and a tight selection to accompany the movie. Now, if you've seen the movie, I'm sure you'll be familiar with some of the songs, so even just hearing them on the soundtrack afterwards, you always get that dope sentiment where you get flashbacks to the scenes in the movie that the song was used in. But even if you hadn't seen it and you just heard it as a soundtrack goes, as a hip-hop album, it was tight. This album was released on May 20th, 1997 through No Limit and Priority, produced by Beats by the Pound, with some production by Brotha Lynch and EA Ski. Now, I'm a couple of days late on this anniversary, but I've been mad busy this weekend, so guys, be patient with me. So the album itself was a huge success, peaking at number 4 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on the top R&B and hip-hop album chart, becoming No Limit's first number 1 album, with first week sales of over 300,000 units. And in addition to that, the single, If I Could Change, found a lot of success on the single charts, making it to number 40 on the Billboard Hot 100, number 27 on the Hot R&B hip-hop singles and tracks. And it was also number 5 on the Hot Rap singles. So another single which was released was Pushing Inside of You, which, you know, Sons of Funk. Big up to Rico and the rest of the guys. That made it to number 70 on the Billboard Hot 100 by January the 22nd, 1998. So the album definitely sported a lot of accolades, but not only did it sport a lot of accolades, but a lot of feature from artists within the hip-hop game. Some names with No Limit and some names from Off the Tank. So the first track was an introduction produced by Moby Dick, and going in from that, it went on to Meal Ticket, which was a tight track featuring 8Ball and MJG, and also UGK, rest in peace Pimp C. I mean, everybody killed it. Every time UGK did something with the Tank, I always thought it was dope. Likewise with 8Ball and MJG, it was like, especially with UGK, they felt like an extension of the Tank at one period, and they always did good stuff together. So this track was tight, produced by Moby Dick. Definitely one to listen to if you haven't checked it out, but I'm sure all the hardcore listeners have. Number 3 was Situation on Dirty, Brotha Lynch Hung, produced by himself too. Dope track, and especially if you had seen the movie, you remember the scene with Baz, and you remember that song playing, and you know that song definitely stood out in the movie, and it stands out as a track itself. Brotha Lynch was a tight addition to this, as well as the West Coast Bad Boys and other projects. Track number 4, Mystical, had a solo track, What You Think. KLC, Mystical and KLC track, Say No More, What You Think He Gonna Do, He Gonna Kill It. Track number 5, E40 and Be Legit. A tight track from E40 and Be Legit, you know, Sick With It Records adding their addition into the mix and keeping that flavor and that relationship popping. And it was good to see No Limit bring artists together that they collaborated with on other projects and stuff too, so you knew they had solid relationships. Track number 6 featuring Young Bleed and C-Lo, How You Do That. So speaking of solid relationships, it was like that with No Limit, the Concentration Camp, C-Lo, Young Bleed, Master P, huge single, went on to be remixed by Problem years later. Still a classic to this day. Track number 7, Fiend, Don't Mess Around, another tight one if you remember from the movie as well. You'd remember when it popped up. And even the track itself, Fiend, on the KLC beat. What else he gonna do? He gonna kill it. He ain't messing around, not one little bit. Signature sort of Fiend in one aspect. You get like a real true sentiment of his lyrical ability and his style, and it's great that it's a solo track. Track number 8, Master P and Steady Mob in the single If I Could Change, produced by DJ Darryl, who produced most of the stuff Steady Mob and P did. And a lot of these dope tracks were produced by DJ Darryl, you know, bringing that sort of West Coast vibe at the same time. Shades of like a Tupac record. Darryl had notably worked with Tupac before on Keep Your Head Up. So, you know, anytime he was in the mix with No Limit, especially at this period, it was like those really deep melodic beats and sounds that he really brought forward, I feel. Track number 9, EA Ski, solo track, Faces of Death. EA Ski done his thing. Shouts out to EA Ski. Track number 10, Silk, See Murder Mercedes, Down and Dirty. I thought that was a dope track, bringing that No Limit sound and that vibe, because it had a good mix prior to that of No Limit and Not No Limit, but that really brought the No Limit sound back, that signature No Limit Down and Dirty production and the sound Mercedes with a dope hook. Track number 11, Me and X, Much Love, produced by Craig B, another solid producer with the tank who killed it on this one, and so did Mia. And then we got 12, Sons of Funk, Pushing Inside You, which most people will remember aforementioned from not just this movie, but I believe the man popped up and I got the hook up as well, the first one. So definitely a dope bedroom classic. Number 13, one of Mr. Servan's best tracks, Before I Die. Produced by Craig B. Servan really going hard on this with depth and lyrics, and he really go hard on this one. I'd encourage everybody to check it out if you haven't already. The next track, Cain and Abel, For Reals. The twins doing their thing. Produced by KLC, Cain and Abel, going hard with the lyricism and the fire raps. Track 15 was Lockdown, Mac, which would be quite prophetic in some aspect to, I guess, how some things went in the future, just with some of the stuff he was rapping about and stuff as well. But nonetheless, it was a very tight track and it was smoking. Track number 16, Skullduggery, Heat. Another dope track produced by Carlos Stevens, bringing that TSO flavor. Skullduggery killed it on the Heat. Some people criticized some of his lyrics on this song where he said he didn't give an F if Tupac got shot, but he went on to explain it in certain aspects that it wasn't like a shot at Tupac or anything. He was just saying he had seen so much within his own streets and environment that it was just another thing. So a bit of controversy on that track with Skullduggery. Track 17, Ghetto Twins, Murder Murder. It was dope hearing the Ghetto Twins on this, produced by Precise. Ghetto Twins has always been tight, I think legends in my book, legends in most people's book, I should say, especially for female MCs. Track number 18, Mr. Jinx, Ride For You. Had that West Coast flavor, that sort of I Miss My Homie sort of song. If you remember the movie, you remember it from in there as well. So it was one of those ones you could just play and sing along to it. Track number 19, Moby Dick, That Thing Is On. Also produced by Moby Dick, showing his creativity as Moby Dick can only do. Track number 20, C-Loc, Who's Who. And I always enjoy C-Loc's features with No Limit. I mentioned UGK sort of feeling like an extension of the tank, and I guess you could put C-Loc in that sort of category too, with his features and stuff. So that was a tight track. Track 21, Prime Suspects, Cops Running After You. I like this track a lot. One of my favorite Prime Suspect tracks. Rest in peace, Canoe. I thought those guys really brought it hard on this track. KLC production, just them being young at that time, what they was experiencing and going through and putting down on the raps, they really was able to paint a vivid picture. So that was a dope one. 22, JT the Bigger Figure, Game Tight. JT was always a good addition when he popped up on No Limit features, whether West Coast Bad Boys are on this album too. So it was good to hear JT representing that West and that Bay Area. And track 23 was the Gambino Family, Why They Want to See Me Dead. Now this actually featured the two original members of the Gambino family as a group, that being Mr. Sleep, who passed away, rest in peace, and Lil Gotti. So that was like the first incarnation of the Gambino family people may have saw and wondered why there was a cover that had just those two out there before they added Fino, Malachi, and Nelly. So all in all, this album was super hot. I'll give it like a 4.5 out of 5. It was really slamming, to be honest. There's not much it was missing. I just want to give it a 5 because 5 signified perfection. I don't think it was perfect, but it wasn't far from it. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. We're definitely celebrating and saluting the No Limit catalog artists, their contributions. Let us know some of your favorite records off this album.